Yo, what is up everyone and welcome back to another Destiny 2 Trials training video with your host, Kenkukun. Now, last Friday, I played, Pacifica was the map this last weekend for Trials, right? And last Friday I played, and then Saturday I recorded a video with my thoughts on the map, things that I noticed, maybe things that people were doing, maybe XYZ, right? So, instead of rehashing any kind of points on repeat, I figured that I would just take a couple of games that I had saved and just talk about them and break them down. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this. I didn't look at these prior, so this will give me an opportunity to give my thoughts on the plays that were made, or maybe some of the mistakes that we did make. These are both losses. These are not wins, right? So we either got steamrolled or we came really close with a maybe a mistake here or there. And then some of the points that I may have brought up in Saturday's video, you might see me talk about today. So this is, I believe we are triple stacking right here. So we're playing in a team of 3 this game, I believe. Yes. All right. So right off the bat, we have a bubble on each team. We have 2 tethers on our team, fast charging supers, a Nova Bomb, and a stasis super. So right there, I make mistake number 1. I run through that lane. I don't know how many times I've got sniped out of that lane thinking I'm fast enough. I think this might be Saturday's gameplay. I'm not even sure. By the time Sunday came around, I had gotten off Invis Hunter and I was like running. I think I was running the well. I was running Warlock and sniping. So go ahead and see what we got. The enemy is they're all clustered up on one side of the map. I go ahead and take my quick flank, and then I get stuck right there on whatever that is. My teammate dies really quickly, and then we're gonna call Eric. Eric's unable to get the pick. I just turn around and move away, right? I'm like, well, I need to kind of move. But there was no communication right there. I probably should have stayed in team shot with my teammate, but at the same time uh I just wasn't sure. I just ran. I'm like, all right, let me get the cover and let me reset my position, right? There was no way I could stop the revive from happening. Let's see. Am I gonna make that same mistake? I'm about to run through the sniper lane. Do I die for it? I slide through it. I've been killed off of that slide so many times this weekend. It really isn't like worth sliding through or even jumping through. You may as well just avoid it. I missed my fusion. I've gotten that fusion kill a lot of times this weekend. I actually die right here too. I'm trying to sneak back in and get a kill. But we have a 2v2, so my teammates got a pick. They go to get a second pick. The child of the old gods flies in on them, forcing them to move back. It's a 2v2. Flick pushes the body. Eric comes for me instead of the same thing I did. I didn't fight the 2. Well, yeah, I didn't fight the 2v3. I didn't fight with my teammate when he got me up. So Eric came for me. I may have called out, hey, my res is clear, or maybe not. I'm not sure. But there wasn't enough communication between him and Slick to sit on the body or press whatever play they were going to make. All right, so the zone goes outside. I actually take this time to try and get behind the enemy team. There's actually one guy was inside. I remember this. So I call for my teammate to come outside. I'm like, just get out, get out, get out. I didn't want him to like push with me and we try to pinch and then one of us dies and then the other one dies. I'm like, just get out. I'll fight the dude by myself. You go with Slick, you know, because it'll be a 1v1 for me. It'll be a 2v2 for Slick and him. And I'm just like, bam. Right here, I would say I this is a common mistake that I will make and others will make. When I get my partner up, I get Slick up right here. I take cover, right? So this is number 1. I'm taking cover from the enemy. The enemy can't see me from getting the revive. I've called this out numerous times, guys. If you can't see the enemy getting the body, if there is a piece of cover they can use, that's not a Titan shield that they have in place, you probably need to find a slightly better position. Now, you can risk allowing them to get the revive and team shot the person down, but there are going to be times that you're not going to be able to get that, especially if you're the only one shooting, right? So I take cover, I get the revive, and then I peek. I don't push my teammate. I don't try to shove them. I put bullets on the enemy. The one sure thing that's going to stop the enemy from shooting me or my teammates is killing them. It's very simple. I never trust pushing. Never. Not on D2. All right. So I take those few hits and I call out for my teammate, even though I have him weak. I call out for my teammate. I'm like, "Hey, child of the old gods is coming." I call out to back up. Back up, back up, and I back up right away. I think my teammate may have killed the child of the old gods, but then they re-peek the same angle and die. I can't really say that that's a bad play. And I just wanted to point out the way that I got the revive. But sometimes people will overcommit to kills on angles and just get unlucky. They get outgunned, outflinched, right? Whatever the reason, because he had to take care. First, he was shooting at the enemy, then he had to shoot the child of the old gods, then he had to re-engage, right? I don't know that his recovery was high enough to even constitute that peak, but again, I wasn't shooting, so I can't really say whether it was or not. I was weak enough that I wasn't going to peak again. That's what I knew. So we have the first pick. We only get 2 rounds this game, so I believe this actually fails pretty hard right here. So now we're just going to kind of play a little bit passive. I'm using a hand cannon right now. That's also another way I know I didn't change. Now I'm putting my smoke to the left on that wall. I'm watching the staircase. And I'm like, okay, if I'm watching the staircase and nobody can come up here to bother me, right? You two can focus on the bottom left if someone pushes from there. And I'm also putting my abilities down there because I'm putting a lot of trust into my fusion that if someone tries to push me, I'm going to pull out my fusion and kill them. But that could also not be the case. So I put my smoke down there. If someone runs through the hallway, hopefully they get smoked and slowed. Yeah, I'm going to put my grenade down there. Same thing. The zone is being capped. Excuse me. The zone is being capped. I want to stop that. And here comes the push on the right. I'm able to get the fusion kill, but I do trade with Witherhorde, which is fine. My job was to just make sure nobody pushed very freely and nobody was able to get the stop us from getting the zone. Now I decide to come back through the middle again. I'm hoping that there's an enemy here. I get the kill, and this is a mistake. So this was a hindsight play. It's like, man, I should just come through the middle. I went around. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go through their spawn. I'm going to get behind them. And I do just that. And I believe they're waiting for him. No, I miss my shots and then just get auto rifled down. Now it's a 3v2. It would have helped if my teammates could have put and applied a little more pressure to them, but unfortunately they could not. And then when they push, I don't even know how Eric died, but when Slick pushed, he has to deal with the child of the old gods, as well as Warlock abilities. That Warlock went to that spot every time, and they were able to just never be moved from that spot if they weren't just outright gunned down. And I don't think we take another round here. I think there's one more point in this video that I wanted to point out. Here I go right through that snipe lane again. I shade step this time, which, might save me, might not. Now here come the Witherhordes. They're going to try and like force me out of my position. Yep. They're paying attention to me and paying attention to where I like to go. So that's very good. Dustfield on me. And then I just kind of like wait. I call out to my teammates. I hope I call out to my teammates that, hey, I had to reposition. I do call out that, hey, there's a bubble. We need to make sure it doesn't get to zone. So I put myself in a position to make sure it doesn't get to zone. There's that Warlock. That Warlock was like the bane of our existence. I think this is the round where I wanted. Yeah, this is it. So I failed my. I fail my engagement in my 1v1. I could have been a little bit more patient. They get the revive, and I call out, hey, there's a child of the old gods coming to you. Some people will just run away, others will just shoot it. And I call out that, hey, the guy is just on the staircase, the guy is on the staircase, the guy is on the staircase, right? And what my teammate does is he looks at the staircase while he jetpacks and messes up their jetpack like really hard. I will do that sometimes too. When I'm making a move with my jetpack or my double jump on my hunter, I'll turn my camera and look towards the direction of the enemy. And I will just kind of like trust that I'm just moving through the map properly and I'm landing where I wanted to land. I'm not going to say that was a wrong play, but there are times where I'm struggling with whatever kind of like movement I'm making when it comes to a jump or a jetpack, and I'm not getting enough height because I'm trying to rush my play, or I'm a little bit of panic mode, maybe a little bit of both. Sometimes you just want to focus on the one thing in front of you, and that's just jumping. and jetpacking, one or the other, and just that's your full focus, it can help out a lot. So again, I'm not gonna say that this was a bad play on my teammate, them looking, looking away from where they were gonna go. But just keep it in mind if you're finding yourself in a position where you're not getting the result you want when it comes to jumping and mantling or anything like that. Just stop, take a moment, do it properly, look at what you're doing and get it done get it done right. That way you don't have to try and get it done again and again and again and keep failing, and then now you're dead, right? So that what should have been an easy 2v1 for my teammates out, what should have been an easy 3v1 if I would not have overcommitted to my engagement, should have been a round for us. Instead, it turned into a round for the enemy. And this is where, yeah, I just get a little bit aggressive here. So we have our tether, and our tether really doesn't know what to do. We're about to get our bubble, but our bubble, yeah, there it is. Our bubble happens now, and then I'm just like looking for a pick, and they got, they got everyone they got everyone where they need to be. So my teammate doesn't pop the bubble there against the Nova Bomb, and we just end up losing that round. Now, one of the things I noticed when I played bubble really quickly off topic was I played bubble and I realized that it wasn't hard to get the bubble to that flag where it was at. It's not hard. The hard part was staying alive once you got it there. But I quickly realized it only took me one game and one bubble when I got it to understand what I wanted to do, and I'm gonna talk about that in a smaller clip here coming forward. So teammate gets sniped. And my gun, I hate when it reloads when I don't want it to reload. And I'm not sure. Let's see. Our teammate got. Oh, we had a body. I don't know where it went. Now we got a new body. All right. So now we got a new body. I'm trying to stay alive. My other teammate's already dead. Okay. So he probably put the body down and we didn't. So a lot of people will run down that left side and chase. I just went ahead. I got the. Oh, I didn't get a pick. I went and peeked because I thought there was a body there. And then I came back and my teammate went around the corner for cover. And that allowed the enemy team to get to me. There's not really much I wanted to talk about with that round. Let's go ahead and go to the next round. So both my teammates go down to the bottom right. I come up to the left. I put an ability out there, hopefully to help us. Teammates dead. They looks like they got sniped from somewhere over there. Oh, and then there's that guy sniping. So I just put a box between me and him. I'm like, all right, I don't want to look at him. I don't want to see him. I don't want him to see me. I put a rift down in case he's going to try and like grenade me. And I put pressure on him. As soon as I see that sniper, I put a box between me. There's a lot of times where I'm not even looking for an enemy, or I'm not looking I don't see an enemy, but I know that they're in that general direction because we spawn on one side of the map and they spawn on the other. So it's just common sense. The enemies are going to come from this direction most of the time. Sometimes enemies will get behind you. Maybe they'll rotate the whole map. I did see that a couple of times this weekend where the enemy was rotating the whole map. This was odd. When I got that slow on that guy in the middle and nobody was there to kill him, I was sitting there and I was thinking, and we're duo queuing here, and I'm like, I wonder what happened there. I pushed a little bit too aggressive. My teammate failed to see the guy that was in the middle. He could have hid behind box. I have no clue how he died or what he died to. It was just unfortunate that we were unable to get that kill right there because I was like, oh, he's going to be slowed in the middle. But no one was really there to capitalize on it. We go ahead and push for heavy round. Our third blueberry sits a little back for a moment. They're a little bit late. I push forward and I take a look to the right. I do realize that my radar says there's more people to the left. I'm able to get that pick because, I place my rift and 3 peeking happens. There's a shotgunner there, and he rushes at us. He hesitates when he sees me back away, and then he rushes in. So that's a bonus for me. Let's go to the next round. Next round shows up. This is a loss. This is not a win. We do not win this. We're in game chat. I think we're in game chat with the third person. I see that I jumped into game chat, so they might be there listening and not talking. I get this pick right here. I do not pursue a round. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to go pinch or anything like that. I put myself in a position to defend the left. Someone gets sniped from the right. This is where I have a body, and we're tied on rounds. We're tied 2-2. At 2-2, this is a good time to establish in your head, hey, the team's either doing well enough that I need to not be over aggressive or not make mistakes or overreach my position, or you're doing sloppy enough that you need to not be over aggressive, sloppy, or overreach your position. And I would say that once I got the body on the left and I called it out, we either all play it from an angle we can see it, which I probably would prefer as the second best option, but the first best option would be everyone just kind of back up like to the right of my screen. We'll have like my two teammates somewhere to the right in cover from probably the staircase, right? Put them in cover from the staircase, and then they can look at the top left right there where the platform is. And then if I call out, hey, there's someone coming to me, one of them can push forward or both of them can come forward while I'm fighting them, you know, or they can watch for the one guy that might try to flank. But one of my teammates went looking for the second kill, and they died for it. Now, I think my teammate, I don't know if Blueberry dies or not. I don't even know if we do lose this round. Yeah. So the position I was in because my teammate died, um, is I put myself next to the water tank. I guess I should have just went away from that area altogether and just left the body. And if they got it, they got it. If they didn't, they didn't. But again, I think people overreach for that second kill far too often, and it just costs them rounds. Some people like to play aggressive. They play aggressive with certain people they are comfortable with. It works out all the time, but then they don't remember that when they play with other people, they are not going to get the same results, right? So I'm able to get that pick but not get away. And then my teammate peeked the same lane and got sniped, unfortunately. Oh, look at his body hanging off the wall. And now our teammate is... Oh, yeah, our teammate came back from the far right, didn't he? Yeah, so when you're tying for rounds and you're having a tough time, you probably don't want to like split to that far right lane right there. I seen that a lot. I seen it where people were splitting to the far right lane, and it was like same scenario. We're like 2-2, and it's just like it's not worth splitting at that moment because you're running the risk too high. If the enemy team's neck and neck with you, that means they're either as good as you or you're making more mistakes than them, right? And if it's a good team, you're definitely going to get pushed. If it's not a good team and you're just making mistakes, you're just, you know, you could be that one person that needed to be there to get that kill. So I come over here and get the team shot with my teammate. I go ahead and take this angle to try and just put pressure on the enemy. I'm not really looking for the kill. I'm just putting pressure where I need to put pressure to slow down the enemy's push. And then I'm like, all right, I'm going to play flag. We know where the body is. I put a rift down, and it's a 3v1 too. The reason I play flag is hopefully we can build some more of our supers. My super is very, very slow to charge. The strand super can be just as slow to charge. So with one guy capping and two people defending, we can kind of slow down the game, get a little bit more energy out of it, and hopefully get a super. I believe we do just end up losing this very next round just right away. Maybe I'm pretty sure this is the loss. I'm almost positive. I don't think we make a comeback. Now, if I would have thought about it, I would have saved one of my comeback games that I thought was worth presenting against some of these good teams and just kind of break down what it took to get the comeback and how we put ourselves in the deficit in the first place, right? And I think that would have been something very good to have. And going forward, I will definitely be doing that. So here comes Arc Staff right here. I'm just trying to, yeah, I was trying to get a pick and just get away. I was hoping they were going to go bother my teammates, but that's okay. They get one pick and then they get another pick, but they get the revive by that time, and it just kind of crumbles right there when the third stopped for my revive. It was a very close round. They almost had it. Now, going back to that bubble play where my teammate was having a tough time getting their bubble to the zone, I heard this a lot from people we get this spawn. Let me talk about this map real quick, and we're gonna wrap this up with this clip. So this map was very unbalanced. It's very bad for Trials of Osiris. Borderline. It's borderline a flip of the coin, complete RNG. If this is the spawn you get in the first round and you don't mess it up, you're putting yourself in a very, very good position to win from this spawn every single time in Trials of Osiris, because you spawn closer to any flag, so that instead of you having to fight your way through a choke point, you get the open area to your choosing, right? So a lot of people on the other spawn would have a super, and it would be well or bubble, and they'd be like, I'm like, all right, can you get that to the flag? They're like, I don't know. I don't think so. It's going to be tough. And it's like, okay, understandable. I ran it. It was not completely just free and safe for me to run my bubble to the zone. And then when I did get there, I died. And I understand why people were saying that. But once I ran my bubble titan, which was sometime either before or after this warlock clip, because I did end up playing, I think I played my bubble titan once before this. So I ran my titan once, and I already knew what needed to be done with my bubble and my well, and it works far better than the well than the bubble. So in this scenario, it's like, hey, the flag, especially when the flag's down there, it's like, hey, the flag is down low, right? I don't want to die to conditional finality that everybody and their mother seems to have, because it's the most powerful weapon in the game and freezes people where other freezing abilities do not work, like wells, right? You're not supposed to be able to be frozen in a well, but Bungie forgot that part of the passive of this super. I was like, okay, I run down the snipe lane, mistake, and I put my well up top. I'm like, let me give me a position instead of me being here with the well and dropping it right on the flag. I put myself on high ground, drop it where I can see the flag and just start shooting. I'm like, we're going to clear people out. You can do this with the bubble. You can't put it as close to the edge because you have to step out of the bubble. So you have to step forward, and then the bubble doesn't really give you protection. However, it does give you weapons of light, so if you could make even one kill that round or two with your bubble, that might be the way to go. So let's say whatever round it was the enemy's round 4, right? They were looking for their match point, and you spawned in that spawn with bubble, and it's like, all right, I either use it or lose it. You could have employed this tactic. It's like, I want to get my bubble to the flag, but I'm not finding the opportunity. The longer you wait to get your super pop, the longer or the higher the risk is for anyone on your team to die, right? So now they don't get, number one, they don't get the orbs, right, from the bubble you make if they were not at their super yet. Number two, you have one less person in the bubble with you taking shots from the conditional finality, right? So the conditional could kill them instead of you, because if they kill you, bubble's gone, right? And then again, placing the bubble, you have to step out of your bubble, which means your protection is gone. So you have to be careful with who you peek, what you peek, right, when you're trying to get kills in this fashion. But for the well, it works out very well. We're able to get a pick, an enemy comes behind, somebody's not playing in the well. I don't step out of the well for long. I make sure I keep myself in the well often, and then I do put myself back in the well once again. Now, that jump over and around right there is a risky play. I could have died very easily to like a fusion or a shotgun. Hell, I've been slugged from that distance. Now, this is a team of 2 that I play with, and they were smart enough to like pull the enemy into the open. They were also risking it because they could have died. Like when he dropped down, one rule of thumb that I have for people is, when my teammate drops down, if you approach a position or an angle, and this is what I'm talking about when I say it, that you can see the enemy, right? But your teammate cannot see what's shooting you, which would be the case without, and I don't know, like there's no comms. This is a duo, so duos don't go to game chat with me, right? So I don't know that they're about to make this play. I just have to look, and I'm making plays off of what's going to happen with my team. I'm like, all right, we have well for just a few more seconds. What are we going to do? He pushes out. He doesn't look back at the enemy. He knows where the enemy is. The radar told him. His teammate probably told him. He pushes out. The enemy pursues. And that could have just as easily been a fusion rifle, but maybe the call out was given, hey, he's got an auto rifle out and a shotgun, get in there. And as soon as the enemy comes out, I jump into the fight, and I'm like, well, let me just My teammate's pulling him into position. I'm going to kill him, and that's that. And that's pretty much the end of the clip. We're going to wrap it up here. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I understand that, it was a tough weekend. The map was not easy. I found myself playing games throughout the weekend on and off every single class. And it was a tough weekend. The map is highly unbalanced, and I really hate it for Osiris. I love it for Countdown. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Give this video a watch. If you watched it all the way through, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time. It means a lot. Share this video with some of your friends that have a tough time in Trials. And let me know if anything that I've talked about here or showed you has arisen in any of your games that you can remember from last weekend, any troubles, and hopefully I have given you an option, right, or some thoughts or insight on things that you can do yourself or things that you can be looking for, right? I'm all about, helping people find out how many options they have when they play the game versus this is the only thing I can do, or feel like there's nothing they can do, which everyone gets in that situation. I myself show up in games and it's like, man, there's nothing we're going to do, and we're probably going to lose, and it is what it is, right? So everyone gets to that point. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Enjoy your night, evening, morning, whatever it may be. Peace out. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys for my Friday thoughts on Saturday. Later.